Jody here, and welcome back to my channel. And if you're new here, on my channel I talk about Broadway books and television. And in today's video, I'm going to be giving a spoiler-free review on the latest book that I have read. So as per usual in my spoiler-free reviews, I go over certain things, like always, such as what the book is about, if I've read from this author before or not, my thoughts on the book, my star rating, if this is a book I would recommend reading, as well as on occasion letting you know if the book I'm reviewing has been or is going to be adapted. So without any further ado, let's get on to today's spoiler-free book review, and that would be for the book Disclaimer by Renee Knight. So Disclaimer is about a woman named Catherine Razencroft who, to the outside world, may seem as though she lives a charmed life. She's an award-winning documentarian, she's a mother and a wife, she has a husband who absolutely loves and adores her and who looks at her every time he sees her as though it's the first day they ever met. But one day Catherine comes across something that threatens the very existence of her seemingly perfect life. She receives a book. She starts to read it, and shortly after realizes that this isn't just some fictionalized story, but is in fact about her and a secret that she's kept hidden for years. Only one other person in this world knew the secret, but that person is dead. Catherine quickly realizes that there's someone else out there who knows the secret and wants to expose it for all the world to see. The question then becomes, who is doing this to Catherine and why? And how far are they willing to go to get their revenge? This is the first book by Renee Knight that I've read, and I'd definitely be interested in reading from this author again. The next book by this author that I would want to read would be The Secretary. So now for my thoughts on Disclaimer. I really like this book, and now I'll go on and talk about why. For one, I really like the writing. Renee Knight did an absolutely fantastic job with this book. The writing was sharp and insightful, and the story was written in a way that really drew you in and kept your attention. Two, this is a book that I don't think I'll ever forget reading. The story in this book is truly one where the saying the truth is in the eye of the beholder has never been more true. The story is told from two perspectives, Catherine and the person who is seeking revenge on her. You hear from these two characters back and forth throughout the whole entire story. And for almost all that time, you're convinced that you know what happened in the story when it comes to Catherine's secret, because of how convincing the person who is seeking revenge on Catherine is. You find yourself fully trusting that what this person is saying is true. Then about 3/4 through the book, after the person who is seeking revenge on Catherine has convinced you they know the reason behind why Catherine has kept this secret hidden for all these years, the story takes a turn that is utterly heartbreaking, shocking you to your very core. I don't think I've ever been more shocked and heartbroken by a turn in a story like the one in this book before, because like I said, the person who is seeking revenge on Catherine has convinced you that Catherine is this horrible person who has done all this destruction. When the truth about what actually happened is revealed, your heart breaks for Catherine and everything that she has had to endure. I thought the author did a good job of presenting how easy and quick it is to rush to judgment when presented with how something appears to be one way, but is actually something else entirely, showing how you can't always take everything you see at face value alone, and how there are always two sides to every story. Lastly, the story delves into how a moment, just one single moment, can cause such destruction and have a ripple effect, completely altering and changing the course of someone's life forever, as well as the lives of those around them. The lives of both Catherine and the person seeking revenge on her will forever change from the single moment that happens within the story. The secret that Catherine has kept hidden for all these years was a forever life-changing moment for her. It affected her deeply, and it affected how she went on to live her life after. It also heavily had an impact on the relationships with those closest to her. This is definitely a story where you can't help but wonder how the characters in it might have gone on to live different lives if that moment in the story had never occurred. So those are my thoughts on the book. Now for my star rating. This was a very well written, psychological and suspense thriller with memorable characters that you long remember about after reading the book. With all that being said, my star rating for Disclaimer was 5 stars. Now for my recommendation. Before I get to my recommendation, I do want to point out that this is a book that was very heavy and uncomfortable to read at times because of something that occurs within the story. That being said, this was overall an amazing book. I would say if you're looking for a psychological and suspense thriller to read, I would highly recommend Disclaimer by Renee Knight. So before I end today's video, I always like to point out whenever I'm reviewing a book on my channel if it's a book that has been or is going to be adapted. So Disclaimer was adapted into a television series on Apple TV in 2024. The show consists of 7 episodes and stars Cate Blanchett as Catherine. I watched the adaptation shortly after reading the book, and I did think it was a really good adaptation of the book. I definitely plan on reviewing the adaptation on my channel at some point, although I don't know exactly when that will be. That's going to be it for today. Thank you so very much for watching. I hope I help you discover a new book today along the way as well. And until next time, bye.